Here are 3 horrible booking decisions from AEW Forbidden Door 2025. Now, this show was as good as AEW can get. Sure, it was as long as usual, but it wasn't the extensive length in which just drags and is absolutely horrific to watch. I'm talking about a 6, 7, 8 hour show if you include pre-shows. That wasn't the case, but there was some horrible booking decisions made by AEW Prez Tony Khan, and I feel like we need to address them. At number 3, it is the MJF versus Hangman Page AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. Here's where they went wrong. This match should have headlined the show. I understand you wanted to put the lights out steel cage match in the main event because it's a quote unquote lights out match. It's not sanctioned, right? And they were trying to hype up the Will Ospreay story, which I'll get to in a minute. Here's the issue with that. There are exceptions to that rule. You did not need the steel cage match to have the lights out type theme. You could have just said it was a steel cage match and Will had, signed away his rights to sue AEW and called it a day. Therefore, the MJF Hangman Page match was not only the biggest match on the card, the most anticipated match on the card, but it also featured 2 of your biggest stars on your roster. And more importantly, if you are a promotion like WWE, AEW, TNA, etc., your World Heavyweight Championship, 99% of the time, whether it's women or men, should headline the show. Bottom line, it's what everyone should go after in this business. If you were not here to be a world champion, therefore you should not be in this business, in my opinion. You should have had MJF versus Hangman Page on the show in the main event, especially because of the finish. Going into it, we had the stipulation of, MJF can win the title if Hangman gets DQ'd, if Hangman gets disqualified, if Hangman gets counted out, right? And MJF had the built-in rematch clause, essentially, which was he did not put his Casino Gauntlet Championship opportunity on the line. Therefore, he can challenge Hangman to another match. So you knew going into it that there was going to be some type of rematch. You just didn't know when. I thought they were going to do some type of screw finish, a time limit draw. MJF gets DQ'd or counted out because you're not having the main event, so you have an easy out. Sure, Hangman Page used the steel clipboard and then hit his finisher to win the match, but you had an out. You didn't have to beat MJF, yet you decided to do so. And so, therefore, you had Hangman, a babyface, go out and win the match. You could have sent the fans home happy, which is always the ultimate goal for promotions. And you didn't do that. And in my opinion, that was a major mistake. If you were going to have a screwy finish because, hey, we have a built-in main event, we're going to send the crowd home happy, which I'll get to in a minute, then, fine. Okay, I can see the co-main event slot. But you're ending the pay-per-view event with your, potentially having your top babyface go over, retain his world title. I don't know how, and beat MJF, your top heel. I don't know how more of a better way to go off the air. Like it didn't make a lot of sense. I just question that booking. At number 2, I did not like the fact that they had Mercedes Mone, who holds 9 championships, barely survive a fatal 4-way match against 3 people that no one cares about and really no one has known for the most part up to this point. I understand they used them on television here and there to win qualifying matches, but at the end of the day, Alex Windsor has a ton of upside, yet she's not a name. Bozilla and Spurspespany, I have not even seen up to this point, right? Before they came to AEW, I had no idea who these people are. Now, Bozilla has a ton of upside. The other one just kind of there, but Bozilla, because of her size, she's going to make a name for herself. I get all that. She's going to be A-okay. I don't know. You have a chick who is one of your top stars. She's your second biggest female star behind Toni Storm. You are in a situation in which you have various outs, and yet Mercedes Moné wins with a quick roll-up and just runs out of the ring, essentially, after the match to get away from them. If you were talking about, like, okay, there was a fatal 4-way match with I don't know, name a bunch of top stars. So you had Willow, you had Toni Storm, and you had, Athena in there. And Mercedes Moné does that type of finish. Then okay, then I'm cool with that. That makes sense. I mean, these are the who's who of the women's division. Got no problem with that. But we're talking about a couple of people that no one has ever heard of before, or barely knows, barely has any connection with them. And you're talking about Mercedes Moné, who is going around winning every championship known to mankind in any promotion in which she steps into. She's supposed to be this big, dominant, big time star, this drawing card, yet she can barely beat three unknowns in a fatal four-way match when you could simply just have, hey, this person hits a finisher, this person hits a finisher on the same person. Mercedes Moné gets rid of them. She takes the cheap win. All right, I can see that, but a quick roll up, I don't know. And even if you really, really wanted to go out there and get more heat, I mean, people already think Mercedes Moné is Mercedes Hogan. Why not just have her go out there and beat all three women, hit her finisher on all three women, and then just win the match? Like, she's supposed to be this big dominant star, so why wouldn't you just do it like that? So I question AEW's psychology in terms of this finish. I question the agent and everyone involved in this match. I don't know. Mercedes Moné, she's supposed to be a big time star, yet you're not booking her as that. So then I ask, what are we doing in this situation? That's just my opinion. My opinion. At number one, it's the main event. I don't understand. So you had a lights out steel cage match. Going into it, the big story was, hey, this is Will Ospreay's last match. He's not quote unquote medically cleared, but he's going to go out one more time, and this is it. We know this is it. You've made it very clear this is it. And while he did a moonsault off the top of the cage, there was nothing super duper dangerous that he did in this match compared to what he's done in the past. So the babyfaces go over. They beat the Death Riders, right? Even though John Moxley's no longer the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, yet we still have to have Death Rider type main events. It makes no sense to me, but regardless, that's what they did. So you have the babyfaces go over. Think about hear this out. Hear this out. You are in London. You put the lights out steel cage match, which simply could have been a steel cage match, whatever. So you put this in the main event. You have the baby faces go over. You give Will Ospreay this big send off. This is it. It's an emotional thing, but we're still having a feel good moment, right? You just blew off this feud supposedly. You're in a steel cage, which is not very tall at all. And you have all the baby faces go out of the cage to get Darby Allin. You leave Will Ospreay in the ring. The Death Riders lock the door only because Wheeler Yuta is there fending off people coming into the door with a kendo stick. You have Marina Shafir climb the cage quickly, get inside the cage, and you have them beat down Will Ospreay for no reason whatsoever. You're getting heel heat on a faction that no one likes, and not in a good way. You beat down Will Ospreay, who we've already been told, hey, he is not going to be around after this show. Okay? So you don't need to write him off of television for a separate reason. He's already going away. This is supposed to be a feel-good moment. And the baby faces, they don't even attempt to climb this very small cage. And then the Death Riders barely escape. And oh, by the way, the baby faces don't chase after the heels through the crowd. They just stop at the barricade. Oh, there's a barricade. We can't move. Can't go. Can't jump over it. It was a bad look. Just a bad look. And I didn't like it because it doesn't make a lot of sense. And once pro wrestling doesn't make sense, well, I'm checked out. That's just my opinion.